retarded?
You know guys, when it comes to the Call of Duty cycle, there is always one thing that is a constant variable across the last like 6-7 Call of Duty titles where we'll have a particular feature or some sort of game design that actually works, and sometimes it's something that the community actually likes and is quite positive towards. And then come the following Call of Duty title and it's just gone. It just magically disappeared, it doesn't exist anymore, and typically it's replaced with something that a lot of people really dislike. Now, if I were in charge over at Activision, right, if I were herding all of the monkeys out there, and I was in charge of who deserved a banana versus who didn't, I would make sure that only the most competent ones got their banana. And if they weren't competent, if they're out there just too much, then I'd strip them of their banana and ensure that they don't work on Call of Duty any longer in the future. But it's not only the fact that Activision and all of the developers do this every single Call of Duty title, but on the other side of it, it's the gooch slickers, it's the fanboys, it's everybody that gets hyped whenever they take away these features and eventually bring them back as some sort of selling point. And guys, that is exactly what's happening here today again. And it's really no surprise, the gooch slickers, they're starting to get hyped up for Verdansk returning, with all of these features and things that arguably should have never left in the first place, but I don't know, I guess if I call that out, I guess I'm just a rich bitter. Oh my god, look at me, I don't deserve human rights.
Cartman! Dead!
But before we get into it, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. I need you to firmly grasp the like button and do not let go of it. Be better than the gooch slickers out there, man. And I'm gonna need you to subscribe, and you already know what to do down in the comments below. Hashtag Fooly50. We're on the way. We're getting closer and closer every single day, guys. Be a part of the cause. But guys, check this out. This comes out from Charlie Intel. He says, vertical menu for buy stations. Return to Warzone with Verdansk. We are quite literally getting old features back that were taken away for no reason. Now, I'm not a super big Warzone guy. I haven't played enough Warzone to really understand why this feature was removed in the first place, or just how bad the replaced feature was. But what I can say is, as somebody with common sense, it just doesn't really make sense to me that they even changed this in the first place. And now all of a sudden, now that Verdansk is coming back because Call of Duty's player count numbers are at an all-time low, and if you disagree with that fact, I just want you to understand, the public education system here in America is free for a reason, okay? There's a lot of you guys that no matter how much money you got, you aren't buying yourself any common sense, okay? That's just something that you need to acquire, and it seems like not a lot of people actually have that. Woo! If they're willing to sit here and think that Call of Duty's not in a bad state, so much so that Activision has deemed it necessary to not only reel these people back into playing the game with nostalgia bait, but to give us features back that they actively took away. If that doesn't scream desperation to you and speak to how low the player counts have to be from Activision's perspective, then I don't know what will. But there's even more to this. Here's another leak that came out from Charlie Intel. He says, as was previously leaked, it's now officially confirmed that floating loot will return to Warzone with Verdansk. And guys, for this one specifically, you cannot imagine how many gooch slickers were out there partying like this was the greatest change in the world. Like, oh my gosh, Call of Duty is so back, we're so back. All of those bozos that used to spew that nonsense out, they've all seemingly come back because now there's floating loot in Warzone and Verdansk. First of all, if you're celebrating this, I personally think you're cringe. And don't worry, there's a silver lining here. Even though I think you're cringe, you're not as cringe as this dumbass over here dunking his face in the ice water with a suit on at 9 in the morning.
Something is wrong with this motherfucker.
But still, if you think Call of Duty is back, we are so back, or whatever that nonsense is, for a leak like this, yeah, to an extent, you're cringe. However, on the other side of this, why was this taken away from Warzone? Why was this a feature that was stripped away from everybody? I don't recall anybody really talking down about floating loot in Warzone, so I'm confused as to why they even took this away in the first place. Again, that's a very common theme here, is that they take away features and just default normal things in Warzone and in any other battle royale. They take it away and then they bring it back at a very, very convenient time. Now guys, there were a few responses that I wanted to share with you guys because it tells two stories of the Call of Duty community that are unfortunately being affected by whatever stunt Activision's trying to pull on the community right now. This guy, Landon Carnage Apollo, most certainly very much so not a gooch licker. He says, "Sorry, but I refuse to get excited for all this when, like stated, this was all taken away for no good reason. I legit feel like a brainwashed idiot in the COD cycle being toyed with. Like, this looks clean and is good, but we're getting excited for what?" And guys, I appreciate tweets like this because it typically comes out from people that have spent majority of their time in the Call of Duty community just licking Activision's taint from the back. I guarantee you right now, if this man spits out of his mouth, I'm willing to bet there's probably a pube in there. You know what I'm saying? So for this guy and people like him to finally realize that there is a heavy flaw in this, and that for the longest time they've been brainwashed to act hyped for whatever this change is, it's good to see that some people are finally able to realize that, no matter how much they've been gooch licking. But in the same breath, there's people like this guy, Task Force News. He comes out here and says, "Is there something wrong with them accepting that they made a mistake and are bringing things back? Damned if they do, damned if they don't." Now, I'm not too sure how good Activision is giving this guy backies, but I'm willing to bet that there's gotta be something layered underneath that is influencing this guy to really go out of his way and defend Activision or Treyarch or any of these other developers that have knowingly done something so stupid and strange and bizarre and nonsensical that now when they revert their decision, because it's literally the common sense decision to make, that he feels the need to go out here and really protect them from the people online that are clearly upset with the fact that they made a stupid decision in the first place. Because I can guarantee you one thing, if they never removed the ground loot, if they never tweaked with the menu, I can most certainly guarantee you right now 100% without a shadow of a doubt that these people would not be making these comments. I mean, seriously, is it really that difficult to understand why people are upset about this? It's staring you right in the face. Why are they even bothering to bring it back? Oh yeah, it's because Call of Duty is so down bad. Maybe a lot of these gooch slickers have their brains in a blender talking about, "Oh my god, if you're critical, that makes you a rage baiter." Brother, the only baiting that's going on right now is clearly whatever Activision's got you in. Whatever trance that you're in for Activision's meat, no matter how much you want to do twirly whirlies on Activision's meat stick, it doesn't change the fact that they made a horrible decision and held on to that decision for years, because if I'm not mistaken, this is something that happened a couple of years ago, and people since then have been asking for these things to be reverted. And what does Activision do? They ignore the community. What does Raven Software, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, and Treyarch all have in common? If Big Daddy Activision tells them not to do this, then guess what? Like a good bottom bitch that they are, they don't do anything. Guys, over here, it's death before dishonor. I don't care if I'm being paid. If I work for any of these people and I realize that the community is very unhappy with this change, I'm gonna go ahead and make the change or address it. And if I lose my job in the process, like I said, death before dishonor. There is no amount of money that I could be paid to actively see the community that I helped build up just crash out over nonsensical decisions that everybody else is making and really sit there and do nothing about it. And if you have a problem with that and you think I'm just rage baiting for saying that, you are quite literally the portion of the community that Activision does not care about. They don't care how stupid you are. They know that you're just gonna digest their slop no matter what it is, because you're brainwashed, you're brain dead, and honestly, I don't know if you deserve human rights. But because YouTube's very sensitive nowadays, I guess I gotta make it clear, you do deserve your human rights. Anyways, guys, the amount of gooch slickers that are being brought back in with all of this hype and nostalgia, I personally find it very distasteful. I think we're at a point where if you're really getting hyped about these things coming back, understand that that's exactly what Activision has wanted from the start. They take these things away so that they can bring them back in the future when Call of Duty's not doing so hot. It's a very easy read, and I think if you're just blind to it, I think if you're choosing not to see it that way, that you're simply just ignorant, you're misinformed, and honestly, I don't think you deserve a spot here in the Call of Duty community to really be calling other people out for anything.
Now listen!
But at the end of the day, that's literally what Activision wants. They want people to be talking about this. They want the controversy. They want all of the drama and the clicks because they need the attention. Like I said, Call of Duty's not in a good spot right now. They're literally banking on Verdansk succeeding and over-succeeding so they can justify Warzone's return in future Call of Duty titles. Which is why they're bringing back all of the things that they had back in the past, which is why Verdansk is even coming back in the first place, which is why they're trying to nostalgia bait everybody with the MW 2019 aesthetics. I mean, to close this video out, look at this tweet from this leaker. There's a lot of Modern Warfare 2019 skins and operators coming back in Black Ops 6 with Season 3. For example, the USEF Milsim operator that originally released in MW 2019 Season 3. This is just a small piece of what's coming. You're not ready for this update. Fire emoji. Brother, shut up. The only fire thing here is essentially the way that you're perceiving Activision's gooch when it lands on your tongue. Maybe Activision has that hot, steamy gooch that you really like puckering your lips on, but if you're really being done in like this and you're being hyped up for this and you're willing to spread it open for Activision over something as simple as this, once again, some people do not deserve the spot that they have here in the Call of Duty community. This is just another example of that. And the worst part about it is, Activision's clearly winning. They're getting all of these people to come back and be like, oh my god, Call of Duty saved! You're not ready for this super cool update!
Shut up, Mimsy!
This is literally what Activision wants. So when you see people like myself, Blame Truth, Narrow Cinema, anybody else that's calling this sort of nonsense out, that is not an invitation for you to defend Activision. You don't need to do that. They don't know who you are. The fact of the matter is, they're a greedy corporation that does not care about you. They don't care about the state of the game, and once it finally hits an all-time low, that's when they'll make it look like they're actually listening to the community, but at the end of the day, all they're doing is reeling you back in so that you can spend more money in the shop. That's their entire MO. If you choose to see it any differently, and you feel the need to really try to defend them online from people saying, hey, why did you even do this in the first place? Then honestly, you're just a lost cause and you deserve first class tickets on the goddamn short bus.
Sorry.
But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Are you hyped up with any of these changes that we talked about today? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.
This ain't in my body.